We're ready.
We're ready?
We're ready. Kick it off.
Three,
there, Miss
two,
Jordan
one.
Zahalaba.
Welcome to NADA. We are here in New Orleans, Louisiana. It's an amazing day. We're getting all the features that Louisiana has to offer. Plus, they've got a little bit of snow here. So we're really excited to be here at NADA. We've got some really cool announcements behind us. I know you are guys wondering what's behind here. You're going to see here in a minute. I just want to welcome my fellow teammates. Clayton Sellers is here with me, who is our bull rider on the Ag Truck Trader Pro Rodeo team. Hey, Clayton. Jackie Ganner is also en route. She's coming from Denver. She's actually competing, so she's back and forth, the rodeo life that we live, right? And then we also have Leighton Berry, who is our team captain, and Taylor Santos, who are at home watching this live stream. Hey, guys. And we also want to give a huge shout out to Taylor and Jordan, who have just welcomed their first newborn baby boy, who is happy, healthy, and we're just very excited for you guys. What an experience. Can't wait to meet that little guy. So we've got some really cool announcements here today we're going to talk about. But first, I want to introduce you to a few really, really important people. We're going to be talking to Mr. Scott Vickery, but you are Victory. Like, you're a victory in the ag world, so kind of a cool thing. Scott Vickery with VP of Fox. And then we're also going to talk to Mr. Paul Woody, who is the PRCA CMO. And then we're also going to talk to our fierce leader, Mr. Pat Driscoll, and the whole team here. And I just want to say the whole team here at the Certified Ag Group has done an amazing job to put this together. What we're fixing to talk about back here was planted, the seed was sown last year and is coming to fruition a year later. So we're so excited. We're glad to be a part of it. The Ag Pro Rodeo team is here, and we're just so thankful. So Pat, I want to welcome you in, our fierce leader, and hand it over to you.
Jordan, thank you. Don't go anywhere. Because I'm going to bounce it right back to you pretty quick here.
Okay.
But folks, the first thing we want to do is kind of talk with you about who Certified Agriculture Group is. We're not an OEM program, but we are the only voice for agriculture in the automotive industry. We're a dealer program. We consider ourselves a holistic solution for dealers, an agriculture solution. If you want to say soup to nuts, top to bottom, whatever it is, we arm dealers with everything they need to interact with the agriculture customer at every level. It's not just about a purchase experience, it's about the entire truck ownership life cycle. And that includes things like CAD Protect. These are service contracts that are written specifically for agricultural vehicles instead of excluding them. And then, of course, in September, we introduced the AGwagon, which is the first purpose-built agriculture truck. What you're going to see today is the natural extension of that. It's the next generation, if you will. So the other thing that I want to touch on real quick is just this general relationship between agriculture and rodeo. I grew up Eastern agriculture. I grew up with a different kind of horsepower. But what I've really come to appreciate in working with Jordan and Clayton and our pro rodeo team is the fact that what these ropers and these riders and what the whole performance does is it brings to life things that are and were American agriculture. It is the only professional sport that celebrates American agriculture. I consider it now American agriculture's official sport.
Yeah.
And you can't beat that. And whether you're a cotton grower in Alabama or a fruit grower in Michigan, what you're going to see out of rodeo are individuals who are celebrating the American way of agriculture as it was, as it is, and as it's going forward, in the spirit of American agriculture. And that's what I've really come to love about what we're doing. So what's going to be happening today, what's going to be announced today is, again, another extension of all of that, and we're really excited and we're really proud of you guys. Clayton, Jordan, we've got Jackie Ganner coming in, Leighton, Taylor, congrats Taylor, by the way. We're really proud of you guys and everything you do to support and portray American agriculture in such a positive way. I'm going to step back now because there's other folks you got to get up here. Thank you.
Well, and one thing I want to mention, Pat, as you step away and we welcome our other folks up here to talk with us, is the fact that one of our fierce leaders, Jay Holcomb, who's a huge part of the ag team, he always says that if you're in ag, you're not always in rodeo, but if you're a part of rodeo, you're always involved in agriculture. And I think that that's where the divide is being merged now, and so that's so exciting. I've learned so much about agriculture just being a part of the Ag Truck Trader Pro Rodeo team, and I hope that we can give you guys some knowledge about what we do behind the scenes and give you a little bit of the behind the scenes, what we do in and out of the arena. So I want to welcome Mr. Scott Vickery. I called you Mr. Victory because you're bringing victory to the Ag Truck Trader team. I mean, that's what you've done. So welcome here. Tell us a little bit about what you do and why you're here today.
So, thank you. I guess it's the first thing I want to say. This is it's a great event for us. We're excited about the opportunity and our relationship with the Certified Ag program. You mentioned that Pat and I talked about this last year. It was at NADA, and we kind of had the brainchild for the AGwagon. But I think if we step back even further, I've been part of and been around the Certified Ag group for almost 10 years now. So that seed was planted back then, the understanding, the belief, the involvement, just seeing the community, seeing how the agricultural world interacts. I came from the OE side.
Yeah.
So for me, working with dealerships that didn't understand the agricultural business, they didn't understand how things happened.
Yeah.
The Certified Ag program really kind of drove that home and gave a farmer or rancher an opportunity to go to a dealership and spend time with them, and they knew how to work with them. What was interesting though, when Pat and I started talking about this AGwagon, and we didn't know what to call it at first, and we kind of threw that name out there, but it stuck because I think it makes sense, and it's the concept of that wasn't the fact that Fox was going to build a agricultural truck. It was the fact that if you look at Fox as a whole, people think suspension, mountain bikes, power sports, automotive, going fast through the desert. But I think the key there is we're in very uncontrolled off-road environments at high speeds. Slow that down at a lower speed, sharper impacts on the farm and ranch, heavier loads. Our suspension systems are really integrated for that. So we had the platform, now what else did we need to do? And so I think the key was we reached out and we set up a focus group of 14 different farmers and ranchers. And we talked to them. We said, what do you love about your trucks? What do you hate about your trucks? What would you change about your trucks? Talk about the dealership experience. And so we really brought all those worlds together, and it was so interesting to hear their feedback.
Yeah.
I don't work during the day, I have to work at night. Great, we need some additional lighting. So you start thinking about what we do with the vehicles. The suspension system, we joked earlier, the truck's empty, the truck's overloaded. Great, so we need to incorporate airbags into it. I need access, I need lighting, I need Starlink to be able to connect. So as we took all of that feedback from those farmers and ranchers and really brought it together, our team, our designers, our engineers, they were able to come up with the AGwagon content that we saw back in September. And I think the coolest part about that is we have people walking by the show, like this truck was exposed on Tuesday, and they're like, do I have to be a farmer to buy this truck? And I think that's the piece to me is it's not just functional. I mean, the Fox Factory agricultural suspension system takes so many things into account, but it's also extremely functional. And so the hunters, the fishermen, the guys that want to go out there and experience a truck, it does what they need, and that's why we're excited about this partnership.
Well, and it makes sense. As I was listening to you discuss, all the things that are in this AGwagon, it's common sense, and I think that that's one thing that we kind of get away from a little bit in the world today, but not agriculture, right? And so, what is common sense? What makes it work? What's functional? And then how can they apply it? And you've put all of that into the AGwagon here.
Well, and I think the other piece that I want to add to that is, in the old world before AGwagon, a farmer or rancher would buy a vehicle and they had to put new tires on it. So they had to go to the tire store, and they needed a winch. So then they had to go to a truck accessory shop, and they needed this, and they went to that shop. And all those pieces and parts were basically bolted on, but they weren't necessarily integrated with the vehicle. And you think about today's safety systems in terms of adaptive cruise, collision avoidance, pedestrian avoidance, all of those safety features, they're all impacted by any modification you make to that vehicle. And the last thing we want to do is take a safe truck and make it less safe when you think about what you're the time that you spend out on the road and everything else. That's where I think it really makes the difference. And the fact that it can be purchased at your local dealership with a warranty, with financing, knowing you've got the peace of mind that that vehicle is absolutely right. It's ready to go to work. You don't have to spend weeks going to different places and spending all the different money. It's already put together.
Well, plus that, then also you have the ag pack that comes with it. So you have all of the rebates that are a part of it. It's literally a one-stop shop that Certified Ag Group has put together. But I'm really excited. Thank you so much for joining us today. We can't wait to see what's behind these curtains and all the things you've put together that make sense here.
I just want to say, thank you to you guys. Thank you to our team. I mean, our team has done a lot of work. We've got several members of our team here, and it's so exciting to see kind of that culmination of it. And like you said, this is a cool truck. We'll talk more about it.
Sure. Thank you. Now we are going to visit a little bit more on the rodeo side of things, which you know that we all love rodeo. And so I want to welcome Mr. Paul Woody, who is the CMO of PRCA Rodeo. Welcome here. What brings you to New Orleans today?
Well, I appreciate it, Jordan Joe. I came here for the great weather. We wanted to get out of the cold of Colorado.
So you came to New Orleans?
That's right. I came to New
okay.
Orleans and had an incredibly dicey taxi ride last night going down Canal Street, where earlier this week I saw people ice skating and playing hockey. So, no, but in all seriousness, I came to New Orleans to the NADA convention because if you ask any cowboy what is important to them, they'd probably start with their horse. Then they'd say their dog. If it's a barrel racer, it's their 3 dogs.
I have 4.
And then the third thing would probably be their truck.
Yep.
You can't be a competitive cowboy. You can't be successful without those things. And so, the opportunity to work with Ag Truck, with our partnership here, and it's been a labor of love over the last 6 months.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of work, and we're excited to have some announcements coming out.
Well, and I think it's exciting because literally as rodeo cowboys and cowgirls going down the road, we live in our trucks for 8 months out of the year. I mean, we're essentially in our truck driving from 8 to 10 hours a day. We get out, we rodeo, we compete, we get back in, we're back in them. So all of the components that Mr. Scott was talking about here that makes sense for what agriculture is, it also makes sense for rodeo. So we're pretty excited about it.
It does. The dependability on those trucks is probably the word that always comes up for a cowboy, for a rancher, for a farmer. It's really important, whatever brand you're driving, that you can depend on it. You know that if the weather is cold, if the weather's hot, they're going to be able to turn it over, and they're going to be able to get the job done that they need to. And for our competitive cowboys that spend 75,000 miles a year out there on the road, having that dependable truck is incredibly important.
Absolutely. And I think, having that confidence in what you drive and where you're headed makes a big difference. I'm really excited for this partnership with the PRCA and the Certified Ag Group we're going to talk about here in a little bit. And thanks for joining us today. We'll talk a little more.
Absolutely. Very much. Well, I appreciate it and looking forward to the rest of today.
Yes, sir. Now we are going to come back and talk to our fierce leader, Mr. Pat, is going to come back and introduce us and tell us a little bit more about all the cool things we're fixing to talk to you about here at the NADA convention.
All right. Well, Jordan, we're gonna have you get ready to help us unveil this. So
Thank you.
Step aside there, and I'll take over for a little bit. So, folks, what's really exciting for us? You just heard the announcements from Paul Moody with PRCA about the new relationship that we, as the Certified Agriculture Dealership, have entered into. We're really, really happy about being able to do this and bring brand neutrality into Pro Rodeo by focusing on the dealers who are dedicated to the agriculture and rodeo customers. There's a natural extension. So we talked about the AGwagon earlier, and the AGwagon, when you think about it, those 14 farmers and ranchers that collaborated with the engineers for several months on creating the perfect agriculture truck, we made 28 modifications to the stock truck that make it an ag-capable truck. And that took us a long way down the road, but we needed to go a little bit further in order to make it rodeo capable. And that's what we're here to talk about today, is a rodeo capable truck. So what I'm going to ask is the rodeo athletes, you can go ahead and pan over there, show the rodeo athletes are busy with fans taking pictures. I want to have our rodeo athletes, as soon as they can, get over to the front of this truck, and then we're going to have Paul Moody, Scott Vickery, Lyle Orwig, our Chief Marketing Officer. If you guys will get up on the front of that truck. And I'm going to stand close to this iPad so that boom mic is picking me up. But our athletes are going to be up on the front there. Miss Peyton Valentine is up there with them. We've got Paul Moody and Scott Vickery at the back of the truck. What is going to happen is they are going to unveil. Are you guys ready? All right. Go on ahead and start pulling. And what you're going to see emerging from underneath these covers, seen for the first time, is the PRCA Pro Rodeo Special Edition AGwagon. Now again, we made 28 modifications. There you go. There you go. Folks, this is the Pro Rodeo AGwagon It's remarkable, and we can walk around and show you some of the things that this does, but I really think Scott Vickery is probably best suited to do that kind of thing. Scott, I'm gonna follow you around a little bit here. You take this microphone. You go ahead and tag that on yourself. We're gonna have the camera with the boom follow us around a little bit. So what's important about what we just did, everybody? What's important about that is those athletes, Paul Moody and his crew at the PRCA and the Fox factory engineers are the ones that created this truck. And that's why we wanted them to pull this cover off, because you guys made this truck what it is. And we're excited to get your reactions to the truck. It's the first time you guys are seeing it. Yeah. It's the first time you guys are seeing this truck. And Scott, why don't you kind of walk everybody around this truck and tell them a little bit about what it does?
Pat, you're going to put me on the spot here to remember all 28 modifications that we've made to the truck. But I think as we go back to what we said, everything that was done to this truck was done with the intent to solve a problem, a challenge, make something more efficient and effective. Underneath the truck, it's very hard to see, but there is a Fox factory agricultural suspension system underneath there. And it's not just a shock or a component. It's the entire engineered suspension system that really allows us to do what we do. The key there, as I said earlier, the vehicle's either empty or it's overloaded. So you not only have the suspension components, but you have an airbag system in there. And again, it's very hard to see. But I think, as we were talking about it earlier, there's little things like, how am I going to access, the bed? In terms of climbing in and out of the bed, just a simple addition of a step to be able to climb up into that truck is such a great deal. You're not having to crawl over, lean over as you're doing it. Headache rack. None of us want a bale of hay or anything to come up into the cab of the truck, but more importantly, it also allows us to start integrate that lighting. As I said, you're not always working in the daylight. You're out there, you've got calves or whatever, you need additional lighting. So it allows us to integrate lighting here on the front of the truck. Up on top there, you're going to see a Starlink mount. You're not always in an area where there's cell coverage. So now, exactly. So now you've got access to Starlink. A lot of tools and stuff in the back. I think one of the biggest things is from an air compressor standpoint. So it has an onboard air, an onboard tank. Oh, there's a jack. You've got a hose reel to pull out, so you've got air for anything that you need while you're out there in the field. Air up your tires, exactly. Whatever it would take. This is the functional part of it. And if you start looking at the back, let's walk up to the front, because I think that to me is another piece that really starts to tell the story. And then we will look inside, because I think the inside is a great part of it as well. So as we think about how you integrate into the truck, the front bumper, obviously it's massive. You look at it, but it's also extremely functional. You need to nudge a cow out of the way. You need to, it's functional. It looks good. Allows us to incorporate the lights. Allows us to incorporate the winch. The Ultra Link. I mean, there's Ultra Hook. There's so many things that we can do. One of the things that I said earlier, though, is we were talking about the how everything integrates. You'll notice there's two small panels here. Behind one of those is all of your ADAS functions. So not only can we engineer a functional bumper, but we can incorporate all of those safety systems into it to where the vehicle still is compliant. Your adaptive cruise, your collision avoidance, all those systems work. We know that you're going to be safe out there. Talking about the PRORODEO edition, I think this is where we talked about the farmers and ranchers in the focus group, and we said, what do we need to do? And that was the AGwagon. But we also did the same thing. We talked to you guys and said, hey, you're the ones that spend your life on the road. Somebody mentioned I travel with my dog. There's a pet carrier in the back. But again, absolutely. But it is one of those things where if your pets are with you, you want them to be safe. So we incorporated the pet carrier in there. We've got a hat rack in there, so you can drop your hat on there. It's not worried about getting around there. But I think one of the biggest things, and I guess I'd never really thought about this, but if you think about it, when you're traveling, how many horses do you have with you?
Probably 3 or 4.
3 or 4 horses. You've got your trailer. to check on your horses, you need to pull over on the side of the road, get out and check on your horses. We've integrated a trailer camera system into this, where simply push the button, now you can actually look back there, see your horses while you're driving down the highway, give you the peace of mind that they're comfortable, they're safe. The truck is kind of the mechanism that brings everything together. So just really excited about it. Obviously the Pro Rodeo badging on there gives it a little bit of pop. We're excited about the partnership, just everything associated with this truck.
Fantastic. Scott, thank you. And we're going to have, Paul, I'm going to hand you this microphone too, and we can both have a microphone for YouTube. And then we're going to face over here. So Paul, as we had mentioned, by working with the certified agriculture dealers, we've been able to bring some neutrality to the pro rodeo space. They're going to be able to get that pro rodeo package on any of the OEM's chassis. That's got to be pretty exciting for you guys.
Dealers are the backbone of our local rodeo committees, and with over 700 local rodeos, the opportunity to give every local rodeo committee the opportunity to support one of their local dealers, and those dealers to jump into the Ag Truck Trader family of dealerships. That's really important, and nothing against where we've been the last 45 years, but the opportunity to open it up, and if somebody is Ford through and through or bow tie through and through, or we'll still support some Ram, it's an opportunity for everybody to buy what they want to buy and drive what they want to drive.
Good. Well, Paul, we can't thank you guys enough for working with us on this. We're really excited about this. And when folks, in fact, Peyton was just showing me some of the feedback that's coming through. We thank you guys for that. There's a lot of folks watching. Somebody actually sent in, I didn't see who it was, but where do I send the money? They want it already. Paul, where do they go to find these things?
Yeah, I think you certainly get on the web, find one of those certified ag dealers, and we'll be happy to have you. I've seen drawings and everything of what it is, and to see it in person, it pops, and it's so incredible in person, and I think anybody's going to be lucky to have one in their driveway or out their ranch for sure.
Yeah, so again, folks, really excited. We wanted to try and keep this at 30 minutes. I think we're probably running a little long here, but we're going to wrap up with just a couple of quick things. Principal among those is going to be, we know where the first 5 of these Pro Rodeo Special Edition AGwagons are going to go. And Paul, I'm gonna ask if I can grab that microphone from you. I'm going to hold 2 mics, and I'll take that one right there, because you and Mr. Vickery have got a little task in front of you. We've got our Pro Rodeo athletes standing right here, and we've got some keys that we want to present to our Pro Rodeo athletes, because you guys are all going to be driving Pro Rodeo AGwagons. Scott Vickery, Paul Moody, could you give them some keys there? And for everybody that's watching out there and has seen this Pro Rodeo AGwagon, again, you go to a certified ag dealer. The certified ag dealers are where you get the AGwagons and the Pro Rodeo Special Editions. If your dealer's not a certified ag dealer, stop in, let them know, I want one of these things, and you need to be an ag dealer to get one. So sign up for the program so I can buy this truck from you. And I think the other thing that we want to share with everybody too, just here in closing, is a big thank you. You guys taking time out of your day. It's not been easy for us, but it's all been about getting to this moment right now. We're in New Orleans, where you may have heard they got 13 inches of snow just a couple of days ago, and it locked this city up unlike anything I have ever seen. But everybody managed to get in. We appreciate you guys for being here and for everything you've done. Again, the creators of the truck standing right there. Look at that. There's the brain trust right there. But again, thank you to you guys, and thank you to everybody out there that's been watching. If you have any questions, if you have any kind of inquiries, go to agwagon.com. Paul, I think by virtue of a nod, I think PRCA is probably going to have some AGwagon, Pro Rodeo Special Edition AGwagon info up on the site.
We're going to certainly push it out, because the more people read about it, the better for all.
Indeed. Indeed. So again, PRCA, AGwagon.com. You can go to CertifiedAgDealer.com and get all the information you want about getting your hands on these trucks. I will share, we are just going to production with the AGwagon itself, the Fords here in the next week or so, I think. After that, it's the Rams, and then we get into the General Motors in Q2. Can we, Scott, do the Pro Rodeo Special Edition alongside the regular AGwagons?
All day long.
All day long, so there you go. So, folks, thank you so much for joining us, and we're really excited about what the year holds, Paul, and we're going to be at rodeos all over the country, and we're going to be at the NFR with you guys in the coming year, and watch these three here, along with Leighton Berry and Taylor Santos as well, the Ag Truck Trader Pro Rodeo team. Not only are they some of the greatest rodeo athletes in the world, they're some of the greatest people in the world, too, and that's why we're proud to have them on our team. Thank you, guys. Y'all take care.
I have a new name, is Victory. Sorry.
This guy from here.